Comic 4, Comic 3, Comic 2, Comic 1, Comic Boom.
Hey guys, Comic Boom here to talk about comic book news. A little bit of bullshitting that's going to be going on in the next little bit here. I thought I'd relax, sip a Corona, and talk comic books. Let's talk some comic book news. Let's talk about Batman. James Tynion IV is staying on Batman. Isn't that fantastic? He's staying on Batman past issue 100. This is a good thing. This is also not surprising. Think about Tom King initially. That guy was supposed to stay on Batman until issue 100. Can you imagine still being subjected to Tom King right now? Oh my God. I mean, he ended at issue 85. Can you even imagine, like, the feeling of a Tom King story still not ending? Can you imagine still being in the city of Bane? I mean, thank God we got the city of Joker, or rather, otherwise known as Joker War. Now, granted, it's taken us, as my friend Dark Knight has said, he feels that it's maybe taken a little bit long for James Tynion IV to get the Joker War, to get the ball rolling. I respectfully disagree with my friend. I kind of like it. I like the slow burn leading into Joker War. This is good stuff. And with the introduction of Punchline, Harley supposedly being killed, we know she's going to come back. We know the drama surrounding Catwoman's being shot. We know she's okay. We know Batman finding Desanter, finding the person that Designer had defeated. We know all that coming into play. We know that all these little designs that Batman has are going to come into play. Desanter teaching Batman how to lose, how that's going to play into his eventual defeat of the Joker, which we know is going to happen. How is Batman, Bruce Wayne, going to get his fortune back? All the drama here, all the rogues gallery of the Batman's rogues gallery, hiding out in the cool room of the Penguin, along with the Catwoman now. This stuff is really good. This is a full Batman story that has encompassed not only all his rogues gallery, but all just major villains that have come into play, from Cheshire to Deathstroke to even Mr. Teeth. I mean, this has been a very good story, and James Tynion IV has earned it. Now, it's unfortunate that John Ridley IV is a former screenwriter. He was scheduled to come in to take on Batman with after issue 100 with issue 101, and we were going to get Luke Fox as the new Batman as part of the 5G initiative. But who the hell cares? Because really, let's be blunt here. With deceased Dead Planet coming in with Tom Taylor, we already have really a 5G taking place in Deceased. We got a new Justice League in Deceased. We really do. With Deceased Dead Planet, we've got the new Damian as Batman. We got John Kent as the new Superman. Cassie as the new Wonder Woman. We got all that. We even got some little bit variety there with Black Canary continuing her role as the new Green Lantern with that Kryptonian bladed sword. I mean, it's pretty cool stuff. It's really good stuff. I like the way things are right now. I'm glad that 5G has been canceled categorically. Now this leads into something else, a little bit of news. And in the trade paperback for Flash Forward, we have what would have been the Free Comic Book Day DC issue, which basically takes place after the Flash Forward, where Wally West sits on the Mobius chair. And ultimately, that Free Comic Book Day, it showed images of what would have been 5G. And we now know that 5G, which we can say is officially canceled. 5G would have been just carrying on and introducing new characters along the lines that would have been for the next generation. And who cares? I don't care. The Free Comic Book Day is essentially the Free Comic Book Day issue in Flash Forward essentially just teases images of what would have been a new timeline, as opposed to what it has been changed to, and what it's been changed to is a new multiverse, and that's very significant. The mainstream DC Universe timeline is not going to be changed to 5G. Surprise, surprise, the worst kept secret ever. since Didio got fired, and instead we're just going to get a multiverse reshaped by Wally West, or perhaps more accurately to say, the outcome of death metal, because the Free Comic Book Day issue, which really just ends with the Batman Who Laughs capturing Wally West, and that's how he ends up in the pages of Death Metal #1. So, is that really news? We could pretty much infer that. You can infer that from Death Metal #1. You certainly didn't need that into the Flash Forward trade paperback, but it's nice that DC threw that in. Oh man, what a beautiful day. Beautiful day. More news here. Guys, check out the Old Guard. Check out both the Netflix movie Old Guard, starring Charlize Theron. It's based on Greg Rucka's image book, initial 4-issue image book called The Old Guard, of course. And it's also right now, next week, the 4th issue of the second volume of Old Guard, called Old Guard Force Multiplied, comes out next week. So definitely check it out. It's a really good movie. I don't want to spoil it, but I can tell you that it's surprisingly consistent with the original 4-issue Old Guard series. There's a little bit more information in the comic book. If you buy the trade paperback of the Old Guard and then watch the movie, you're going to be so happy because you get more information in the comic book. But what's great about the movie Old Guard with Charlize Theron is that you get more action. Then you get a lot of fantastic action scenes. It's very well done, and it's definitely something that I want Netflix to continue on because it's just done right. I absolutely love it. Check it out. You won't be disappointed, I promise you. Now, some more news here. I check out The Walking Dead, The World Beyond The Walking Dead. Has another series that's going to be coming out called The World Beyond. And now that's been apparently, I anticipate that coming out. I believe it's coming out within the next 6 months. And it's yet another, it takes place in the same universe as The Walking Dead, as the Walking Dead TV series, but it just takes place obviously in a different spot. And it deals with the university complex that has been sort of reshaped into a protectorate of some kind, and the people that run it are the same people that kidnapped Rick Grimes in the helicopter during the Walking Dead series. So that's interesting, and it involves a quest of university students going on a quest looking for something. And anyways, it sounds interesting, and it's probably not a coincidence that Robert Kirkman has also continued to publish Living Dead with his recently released Negan Lives with the silver variant and the gold variant. And Robert Kirkman has definitely given something back to retailers. It's nice to see him doing that. It's nice to see because he felt guilty about abruptly ending The Walking Dead at issue 93. So at some point you could probably expect we're going to get more Negan Lives. Negan Lives, great comic book. Quick synopsis of a review of Negan Lives is that Negan, basically, he's a wandering guy. He basically runs into a woman out of nowhere that surprisingly befriends him, and it ends up she's just nothing but a ruse to lure him into a false sense of security, where a bunch of other guys jump Negan. And of course, ultimately, she discovers through the process of the story, or through the narrative of the story, that Negan is not as bad a guy as she thought he was. And Negan ultimately ends up getting the one-up on the guys that kidnap him. He kills them, but the girl ends up being his partner, or I guess you could say his journey partner as they wander the undead landscape. And that's really it. And we'll see where that goes. It's just a one-shot, but it definitely kind of whets the appetite. It's good to see. Now, oh man, you guys, nothing better than the Corona on beautiful. Beautiful. Robert Kirkman. On the subject of Robert Kirkman, another Free Comic Book Day issue that came out was Firepower. Now, Firepower is, it's drawn by Sam. Oh my God. Man, I was going to say the director, Sam Mendes. It's obviously not drawn by him. Sam, yeah, it's something Sam. Anyways, I'm gonna put it up there and post edit. But fantastic art, and it's a great series. It's a martial art. It's about a martial artist who gets training, and he ultimately wants to try to develop the power to shoot fire out of his hands. I know it sounds corny, but it's very well written. I read the review copy. It's fantastic. I highly recommend you get it. The free comic book day issue is really good, and it's definitely something that I can see being a Netflix series one day. It's actually a kung fu karate comic book done right. Well written, well developed characters, very well done. Definitely something. Robert Kirkman, I think, here is on fire, and it's definitely worth checking out because you get a lot of bang for your buck, a lot of substance in the story, a lot of character development, and great dialogue. Very well done. Check it out. One thing I wouldn't recommend is Jonathan Hickman's Phantom X. Why? Because I don't know who Phantom X is. I've never heard of him. I shouldn't say I never heard of him. Phantom X, I imagine he's probably some white costume guy who was involved with the X-Men at some point in the past. But I don't understand any of what's going on in the X-Men right now. I enjoyed House of X and Powers of X, but all it did was establish a new status quo, and it's led to a story. It's led to multiple stories that I have no idea where they're going, and so it's kind of hard for me to get really excited about it. And so even though I get some preview copies of all the Marvel comics, the fact is, when I read the X-Men, I somehow just, it's like I continue to remain, there's a part of me that's always remains just lost when anything with the X-Men comes out, and it's really highly unfortunate. But I think with the X-Men, I gotta get a trade, and I gotta read a trade. But even with X-Men trades, when I've done that, even the trades end, and they never end with an ending. And it's a real unfortunate reality about X-Men in general. It doesn't matter if it's X-Force. It doesn't matter if it's X-Men Red, Gold. It doesn't matter what it is. No X-Men story, no X-Men series ever seems to really end with an ending. And it's really depressing. And it's just a reality. Thank God I don't actually buy it. Because I do get, like I said, I get some preview copies and I read it, and I can read it and say, I'm glad I'm not buying that. Because I wouldn't buy that for $1, and I sure as hell wouldn't buy it for $3.99 or $4.99, or Marvel arrogantly, even in the midst of a pandemic, will still sell comics for $5.99. Unbelievable. Not getting my money. And neither is Empire, by the way. But it's interesting because Marvel is coming up with a series called King in Black. Of course, they're capitalizing on Donnie King's King in Black being, of course, Null. Just in case you're not sick of Null already, because he's pretty much everywhere that Donny Cates writes, you can get a series called King in Black coming in December, because by then Empire will be over and done with. Empire is that series that nobody's buying either, and that Marvel has even canceled 21 series. Yes, you heard that right. Or was it 21 comics they cut off of the Empire event? And it's still a massive wide event. Still has 31 issues. Originally 52 with all the crossovers. Now it's just 31. But in any event, Empire at least sounds like it has a story. King in Black, I guess if you're a speculator, you can waste your money buying all those issues that are going to be worth $10 in 6 months. I think it's a waste of time. But hey, guess what? I'm probably going to get the first few issues of King in Black, because Donny Cates does manage to impress me from time to time. He blew my socks off with Venom, but I stopped collecting Venom after 12 issues because I got it. I got the point. It's just that the story's it's never ending. There's got to be a sense of closure. You know what I'm saying? But Donny Cates, I got faith in Cates. So yeah, I'm gonna check out King in Black. It's got a cool name. We'll see where it goes. You guys let me know what you think of that. Yes, the Harley Quinn series, Black and White, Harley Quinn, Black and White. It's a digital only series. The first issue that came out was, I thought, really good, fairly by the numbers. It was by Stefan Sejic, great artist, and it was a story beautifully drawn by Stefan Sejic, and it has Harley Quinn locked up in Arkham Asylum, obsessed with the color red, referencing red coming to get her, and the psychiatrists talking to Harley Quinn, want to know who she's talking about. What does red mean? Does red refer to a villain? Does red refer to blood? Does red refer to an event? They're trying to get that information out of her, and she doesn't actually say anything until the end. Of course, red finally comes, and red is, of course, Poison Ivy, the red being a reference to Poison Ivy's hair. It's a nice little short story, nice little one-shot. The second black and white refers to, it was written by Marco Andreco. She is a great artist and also a decent writer. She also writes a series called Unsacred that has some really great stories as well, where the devil falls in love with an angel, and it's a good take. Marco Andreco, anything you can get anything written and drawn by her, check it out. The Marco Andreco story of Harley Quinn is pretty well done. It stars Catwoman, who basically orchestrates a sort of a fashion off or a fashion contest with Harley Quinn, with the goal of stealing this particular dress, this fancy dress, and ultimately it's a fun story. It's got some humor in it, and it ultimately ends up with both Harley Quinn and Catwoman failing in their quest, and with I think it was another villain, Ice Queen or whatever the heck it is, Frostbite or Ice Queen, I forget what. Ultimately, getting the advantage on both of them, but fun stories. Definitely, that's the series to get. It's good to see that the Harley Quinn mini comic book series is actually finally ending at issue 75. It's never been particularly good. It hasn't been good for at least since it hasn't been particularly good, frankly, since Amanda Connor and Jimmy Palmiotti left. If I'm brutally honest, I've just not been a fan of it. The idea of Booster Gold and Harley Quinn getting together, I don't know, this woman screws everything under the sun, I guess. But I guess, hey, that's just the way of things. Harley can't make up her mind, so she's got multiple sex partners. So why not screw Booster Gold? He's an idiot just like her. If you're not going to respect the character, why respect the people you partner her with? You know, she's a psychopath. I'm a big fan of Harley as a psychopath. Leave her a psychopath. Because if she's going to screw everything under the sun, then fine, make it official. Have her go back to killing people, being a villain. That's what I like. Now, you see this girl up here called Punchline. Punchline is someone that I can... Punchline is the way Harley Quinn ought to be. But Harley Quinn has gone the way of the hero. She makes too much money for corporate, so obviously they can't leave her a villain anymore. And they can't quite leave her a lesbian anymore. So they got to make her a little... They got to just confuse it and make her an anti-hero, make her a bisexual, make her a hetero, make her whatever, throw in whatever your gender confused idea is, whatever, blah, 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 leftist this or that, because that's the way of things, and that will work for Harley. What I like about Punchline is she's just a good old-fashioned psychopath, like the Joker, and I like the fact that if they continue to write her as they ought to write her, she basically has her origins from the internet. She's very naive. She's a very good fighter, but she's naive. She's bought into the Joker conspiracy theories. She's bought into all the rhetoric that the Joker has said. She's the epitome of the person that believes in all the fake news crap, which all of us can probably relate to some extent, because let's face it, we've all been victim of fake news. None of us think that we believe in fake news, but I'm sure all of us have watched it and have embraced it. And whether it's left or right, political nonsense, we've been subjected to it, and who the hell knows what the truth is anymore, because the whole goddamn world's a conspiracy, right? That's my Corona rant for now. Oh man. Now I want to give a shout out. I did review a couple of comic books earlier, and I'm just going to show you what they are. All right. I reviewed Deceased Dead Planet, Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And I'm kind of getting back into the Trinity here. I did set up this thing in my backyard. It's such a beautiful day. I'm going to be barbecuing some... I don't know if I'm barbecuing steak or hamburger later, but this is a really beautiful day. And wow, what a fantastic world we live in. I'm just kidding. It's a pandemic and people are dying. But people aren't dying where I'm at, so I'm blissfully ignorant of the horrors going on with my neighbors of the South. My prayers go out to my American friends. Is it really as bad as I'm seeing on the news? I mean, I go to Fox, it's terrible. I go to CNN, it's terrible. I'm getting two different narratives. I don't know, absolute total chaos. But in any event, guys, thank you for popping by. I'm gonna sign off now, and follow me on Twitter at Metropolis40. Hit the subscribe button, and until next time, Comic Boom out.